How you doing? Dan here, and today I thought we'd try something a little bit new. I thought it'd be good to have a quick look at some possible DJI Mini free specs, and even have a look at some specs I would love to see on the new drone, but some I don't think DJI would include, mainly just to keep the cost down, the weight down, and to keep a distinction between the other higher end models. At times it can be quite hard to remember that this is actually only an entry level drone. The amount of stuff it can do is absolutely amazing, and in all honesty, the price I paid for it, I think it was about $550 with the Fly More package. I have had absolutely no problems with it at all. In all honesty, it's probably my #1 purchase this year. It has just opened a whole new world of filmmaking for me. It's been absolutely amazing. It's been a brilliant introduction to drone flying. I've been able to get some really cool stuff, and it's just been amazing. I mean, still now, I am amazed a drone this size is as powerful and as wonderful as it is. So don't get me wrong when I start to mention some features I'd love to see in the Mini 3. It's mainly because the Mini 3 has to improve on the Mini 2. I have got absolutely zero problems with this drone. So I'm going to break this video up into 3 parts. Part number 1 is going to be improvements I would love to see on the Mini 3, and these are ones which I think are quite reasonable to be included in an upgraded model of the Mini 2. And part 2 is going to have a quick look at features where I don't really think they need to be updated, and finally we'll have a quick look at some upgrades which would be absolutely amazing, but I don't think DJI will include them, as I was saying earlier, to keep the weight down, the price down, and also that kind of distinction between the different models. But before we go any further into this video, make sure to check out my drone playlist. I'm going to pop it up in a link above me right now. It should be there. But there's some really useful videos in that playlist. There's some tutorials on how to get better photography out of your drone, better video out of your drone, and whilst we're at this, I'd love to hear down below what features you'd love to see on a potential Mini 3 drone. But let's jump into some of the reasonable features I'd love to see on the DJI Mini 3 when it is released. So the first upgrade I could see on a potential Mini 3 drone would be the inclusion of some additional object avoidance sensors. So on the Mini 2 we've got the 2 down here which will stop the drone from crashing when it's landing, but it'd also be nice to see maybe either some on the side, some on the back, some on the top, or some on the front. Now obviously this is a budget model and it's for the consumers, not the professional market, so we're not going to see a whole range of sensors, I don't think. But there are rumours, even from when the Mini 2 came out, that this LED light on the front was originally going to be a front-facing sensor, but I could see moving forward to the Mini 3 we could see more sensors, and maybe one at the front to stop the drone flying into things when it's going forward, which would be absolutely amazing. The next feature I would love to see on a potential Mini 3 drone would be the return of tripod mode instead of cine mode. Now, if you guys watch Philip Bloom, he's done an amazing video on this subject, and I'd definitely go and check it out. I'll put a link in the description below. So Philip Bloom's suggestion is to, instead of get rid of cine mode, is to add a speed dial on the menu system of the Mini 2 drone. So instead of the drone moving at 5 meters a second, we could maybe move that slower to maybe 1 meters a second, or you know, anything in between, so we can kind of have a bit more custom control over the speed of the drone, especially in cine mode, because we want the drone to be flying as slow as possible, and at times 5 meters per second can be a little bit too quick. So the return of tripod mode, or some sort of way of reducing the speed in cine mode so we can get those really nice cinematic tripod shots. I do think that would be something absolutely amazing, and something else I could potentially see as a future upgrade in the Mini 3. The next thing I would love to see on a potential Mini 3 drone would be the inclusion of more quick shots, and maybe even some sort of very basic active track. Firstly, I know not everyone likes quick shots. I don't tend to use them that often, but there are times I've used the circle one, especially if I'm getting shots of myself. I find that quite useful. I don't think we'd be seeing the more advanced quick shots, the master shots on the Mini 3, but it would be nice to have more selections and more choices to choose from in the Mini 3 drone. I would also love to see a very basic form of active track. Just something where the drone could follow me if I was on my bike or something like that. I do feel that is something DJI could include, but again, it's just that whole safety feature of, with it being such a basic consumer model, I'm not sure if they'd want to put that feature into the drone, but I would find many uses for that. I would find it absolutely amazing. You know, just very basic, just following a subject, either, you know, tracking left or right, or even from just behind. I do think that would be extremely beneficial, and, you know, it would make me want to use my drone a lot more. That's the one out of this list where I'm not quite sure which way it'll go, but I would love to see it. Now, the next feature I would love to see is kind of a catch-22 for me. I would love to see 4K 60 on the drone, just because it'd be a nice improvement over the 4K 30. But quite often I find my drone movements are quite slow, and quite often in editing I kind of want to speed them up. So I kind of feel like if I'm shooting at 4K 60, and then I'm going to end up speeding it up, I'm going to be speeding up the 60p version rather than the 30p version, and I feel that that's going to maybe get rid of my cinematic look. If you go to my video, how to get better video on the Mini 2 drone, that's something what I discuss in detail, is what the frame rate is a creative choice. Just because we could potentially shoot in 4K 60 doesn't mean we have to. If we know in post we're going to end up speeding the footage up, we probably don't need to be shooting in 4K 60 to begin with. But if it is something we are looking to slow down in post-production, shooting in 4K 60 will be a definite help and something I will use in them situations. And the final feature I would absolutely love to see on the Mini 3 is some sort of improved time-lapse mode or even hyperlapse mode, where we could potentially set some waypoints for the drone to follow and then take images on a set period of time. I do know we have the 5-second time-lapse feature on the Mini 2, which is great, but it would be great to be able to tweak that setting so we could take images on a more constant basis or fewer images over a set amount of time. Again, I do think that is something fairly basic what DJI could include on the Mini 3, so fingers crossed for that one. So they are the features I'd love to see DJI include on a potential Mini 3 drone. So now let's have a look at some features on the Mini 2 which I really hope carry over to the Mini 3. The first thing I'd love to see carry over to the Mini 3 for me is quite a controversial one. I'd love to see the remote control go over. Now I know quite a lot of people don't like this remote control just because of how big and how bulky it is. There is a slight problem when the drone is so portable and then the controller is bigger than it. Obviously just makes it a little less portable. But the remote feels so good in your hands, especially for my big giant hands. Everything just feels really nice. I love how it connects to the phone with that wire. I love all the buttons we've got access to. I think it's a really good controller. Again, I know some people don't like connecting the phone to it and they'd rather have the screen already inbuilt into the controller. But for me, I'm not really too fussed about that. This is something I really like. For me, it'd be such a shame if this went to a really small controller, which just felt a little bit dingy and a bit plasticky. I just really hope we get something similar to this, or the ability to connect this controller to the potential Mini 3 in the future. The second thing I hope carries over to the potential Mini 3 is how simple it is to fix the drone. I've crashed the drone only a couple of times, it was all user error, and I smashed the propellers on one of the sides. But I just brought it home, I unscrewed the propellers, put the new ones on, just made sure everything lined up. I replaced the other ones as well, because when you're doing a propeller change, it's always good to change them all. But it was so simple to do. I just came home, I did it within half an hour, and I really hope that continues through the series as well. It's so great that you don't have to take it in for repair or anything like that. The fact we can buy the parts, which are fairly cheap online, directly from DJI, it's absolutely amazing. The third thing which I really hope stays as well is how easy it is to customise the drone. Now personally, I haven't really customised mine at all. I've just stuck my flyer's ID at the top. That's hardly a customisation. But I do like where you can get the little guards for it. I do like where you can attach ND filters to it. They've been essential for my shooting. So I do like what you can kind of build on top of what's already here. And finally, this is probably the most important couple of points for me. I really want the drone to stay below 250 grams so it can still be operated with slightly relaxed rules. I definitely think it's going to be the case. I don't think DJI have got any intention of making this above 250 grams. It wouldn't make sense for them. And finally, the price. I hope the price sticks around as well. I don't see why it wouldn't do. Maybe it might increase, you know, like 50, 60 pounds or dollars. But as long as it stays around this price, I think it will do very well and I will definitely be buying it. One thing I did forget to mention in the things I would love to see is I would love to see it classified. I'd love to see it have a C marking so the drone can still be operated in the future when all the rules properly come into place, especially in the UK and the EU. There are rumours that the Mavic 3 is going to have that. So I'm assuming any drone after that point will also have that. So fingers crossed to that one too. But they are the things which I hope continue from the Mini 2 and will be carried over or slightly improved to the Mini 3. Finally, I've got a couple of features which I would absolutely love to see on the Mini 3 drone, but I don't think DJI will implement them just because of, as we were saying before, about the budget, the weight, and also just keeping that very clear distinction between the models and especially between consumer and the professional market. The first thing I would absolutely love to see on the Mini 3 is DLOG. I don't think we're gonna, like I said, I don't think we're gonna get that, but I think the option to shoot flat footage and color grade in post is definitely going to be kept for the professional market. Even if it was a light version of it, that would be absolutely amazing in the Mini 3. But again, I understand the whole system of they've got to protect their other products, but that would be something I would love to see. As I mentioned earlier as well, I would like to see some form of basic active tracking, and I do think a basic level will be included. but I would also love to see a more advanced version of the drone. Again, I don't think that's very likely, but if DJI put it in, again, I think that'll be a definite hit. The DJI, I think, have got a slight problem on their hands at the moment because they've made the Mini 2 drone so good, it's almost hard to beat it for the same price and the money without kind of out-competing their own products. So it will be really, really interesting to see what they come out with. And finally, and again, I know this is very unlikely for the Mini 3 as it's not even on the Air 2S, but I would love to see an aperture we could actually control rather it being fixed at 2.8. Again, I know that's probably not going to happen. It's extremely unlikely going to happen, but I can hope, I can speculate. Like I said, it's not going to happen, but it's one of the features I would love to see in the Mini 3. I'd love to see it on any drone around, really. So they are the few features I'd love to see on the DJI Mini 3, which I don't think will be included. I think we're now coming to the end of this video. If you have liked it or agree or disagree with anything, please leave a comment down below saying what, and like and subscribe to the channel. That would be absolutely amazing, thank you. There is a lot more drone stuff coming up, and I'm also going to be doing more filmmaking and photography stuff too soon, because I don't want the channel to become just a drone channel. But thank you very much for watching, guys. It honestly means the absolute world to me, and I really, really do appreciate it. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers.